Hi, I'm Doug, your tech support representative here at Atlantic British. In this video, we're going to introduce you to one of the roof racks that we offer for the LR3s, which is the Baja or BAJA LR34. Now, this is the roof rack with the side rails, and this would be for the LR3s that came equipped with the rear side racks or side rails up on the roof. Now, what I'm going to show you here is the hardware kit that comes with this. As you can see, it's very simple. You've just got 4 brackets that slide onto that rear rack, and then you've got 2 adjustable brackets for the front. Everything is a bolt-on procedure. It all comes with stainless steel hardware, so they give you a little bit of grease to dab on the threads. That's what's recommended on stainless steel. And pretty much that's it. It's a very basic set. So what we're going to do then is we're going to give you a little walk around on the rack, and then we're going to show you how to mount it on your vehicle. Alright, so before we put the rack on top of the vehicle, just wanted to give you a quick walk around to give you an idea on this. It is a high-grade steel, all welded assembly. There's nothing to put together on this. It has all the flats and everything on there. You've got side rails, you have a front guard, there's a windshield or a wind deflector in the front, which will help reduce the amount of noise, because some of the roof racks at highway speeds will make some noise. In the back, you'll notice you have a cross guard and an opening, and this is for the LR3s that came with the navigation system, where the antenna would be in the back area of the roof, so it actually protects that as well. So a well-made piece. It's a powder coat paint, so this means the covering, the paint is going to get into all the pores. It's going to give you much better protection against rust, corrosion, and of course dings and dents. So this is a really nice piece to put on top of your vehicle. So now we're going to show you how to mount it on there. Now you may notice in the next segment that the rack that we're going to be working with does not have the side rails. There are 2 versions to this rack, with or without, and we have already done a complete installation on the non, so if you see the difference in the rack, don't worry about it, the installation is exactly the same. Okay, so your first step is going to be to prepare for the front mounting bracket. You're going to take one of the lower sections. You can see that the bottom of it actually has a nice foam padding on it, so it's not going to create any damage once you bolt it down. And this piece just pops right up. You can get underneath it up front. I prefer to use one of the plastic or nylon trim tools. And you're just going to lift up. This will pop up and it'll slide out from underneath that front section. Now we've already pre-drilled a hole, but what you're going to need to do is to drill a hole here so that it gives you access to this threaded stud that's already in the body of the vehicle itself. Now we've pre-drilled this already. There's no marker or anything on here previously, so what you're going to have to do is essentially, and what I found, is to lay this sideways at about the same area it's going to be. You'll see your stud. I made a mark. The instructions tell you a 1/2 inch hole, but I went 5/8, so just in case I missed it by a little bit, I could still run the bolt through and not have to fool around with drilling another hole. And actually it worked out pretty well. So once you've taken this out and drilled the hole, there's a little plastic button inside the top of this stud, which you can just pry out with a small screwdriver. It comes right out of there. And then you're just going to slide this back into place, line it up approximately where it was to begin with. And we're going to pop that right back down. Okay, so with the hole drilled, and here's your bracket, this gets mounted up in that position where the upright is towards the outside of the vehicle. And we're just going to run the bolt that comes with it and thread that right down into that threaded stud. And we're just going to snug it in. We're not going to make it real tight yet, not until we get to the point where we're ready to lock down all the brackets. And this actually spins in fairly free, so we can run this in with my fingers. And once we get that down, then we go to install the back mounts. Alright, and so now for the back brackets, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be raising the rail. Now the instructions say that you need to remove all the bolts on and actually remove the rail, which I found you really don't need to do. You have one bolt in the back that holds this rack down, and there's a little black plastic cap over it, which you can get up underneath with a small pocket screwdriver and pull that back out. And then at the very end, you've got that number 25. And we're going to take that little screw out, and that holds this back cap on. 30 Torx you're going to use just to loosen that back bolt. You don't even have to take it out. Probably a good 3 or 4 turns is enough. Make sure we're on that. There we go. And that gives you enough just to get your fingers underneath. You can lift this up. And that is just enough to clear the back of this little bracket. We'll pop that out. And then these are your back mounts. And these come basically pre-assembled in the packaging. I just loosen the nuts up to drop it down to give me enough space. And these are going to slide right onto the rails. Again, with this upper mount facing towards the inside of the vehicle. We get the nice foam padding to help protect it from scratching it up. And we'll put both of them in. Now, then we'll put this back in just like it was. Again, just loosening up that bolt gives us just enough to lift that up. Okay, so we've shown you how to put the mounts on one side. The other side is going to be the identical procedure. Now from this point, to make life easier, what I found was the front bracket is a fixed point. That doesn't move. But yet you can move these around, which you use to align to the flats that are on that rack. So what I've done essentially is we go to the rack, we're going to measure from the middle of the flat that lays on the front bracket, and we're going to measure back to where the flat for this mount and for this mount are positioned on the rack. And then we'll do the same with the tape measure. We'll go from the middle of the front bracket and we'll set our points so that when we put these in place, and we'll just knock these down just a little bit just to snug them up, these will be sitting right in the right position, so when you pick the rack up and you set it down, it's going to be lined right up to bolt on. Alright, so we went back to the rack. We measured off from the center of the front mounting bracket back to the positions of the 2 flats that are going to align with these mounts. And what we found was we were 28 inches from the front mount for this and 67 inches back to this one. So we've got them set at those lengths. We're going to do the same on the other side, and then we're ready to put the rack up on top and bolt in. Alright, so this is the rack on the vehicle. This only took 2 people, two middle-aged, full-grown men, and we were able to pick this up and bring it down the length of the vehicle so that it's set right on the pads, and then just held that in place. So now we're going to install the front mounting brackets, which are adjustable. As you can see, you're going to basically set this up where you kind of figure on where your height is. Now to hold it in place, you've got a single bolt that goes down through the top and then between the 2 brackets. And then underneath you'll have a washer and a nut. And it's a little awkward to get in there, but it can be done. Set the nut up in place. Let's try it that way. Okay, so that basically sets that up there. And you can move this back and forth a little bit. And as I said, because you're adjustable, on this one you'll see you're going to be in the very bottom hole of that bracket. So we're going to push these bolts through and then just washer and nut on the back side of that as well. So there's our 2 bolts in place. We're not going to tighten anything at this point yet. We're going to basically leave these loose enough where we can maneuver this around, and then what we'll do is then on the 2 back mounts there's just a nut and bolt through the top. Do the same thing with that, leave it reasonably loose. Then we're going to walk around the vehicle, and then we can have some movement on here where we can make sure that we're centered and that we're in the right position front to back. And then once we've decided it's where exactly we want it to be, then we'll just tighten down all the hardware. So now we're just going to put the bolts into the back brackets. Alright, so we're going to show you, this is the rack mounted on the vehicle. You can see how it adds to the looks. It's got a nice low profile, heavy steel construction, air deflector in the front to reduce noise, and of course just the additional storage space is nice. Now keep in mind, even with the low profile, this is going to add an overall 8 inches to the height of your vehicle, so just keep that in mind when you pull into your garage. And 8 inches really isn't all that bad. And again, nice and solid, one piece, all steel, high grade steel with powder coat paint. This is a very nice option to put on your vehicle. Alright, so when you order your new rack, this is how it's going to come shipped. All assembled in one box, foam protection all around the outside, hardware and everything latched down, so it'll come to you in a really good, very good condition, ready to be mounted on your vehicle. So, when you're ready to order your rack for your LR3, just call any of our knowledgeable salesmen at 1-800-533-2210. And thanks for watching.